Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Dear brothers and sisters, may the peace, mercy and blessings of Allah be upon you. And welcome to our new chapter under the general title, Only Allah Can Give Real Peace. Dear spiritual descendants of Prophet Ibrahim, let us exalt Allah the Glorious for His goodness towards us. In Surah Al-Hashr 59 verse 20-24, I read, He is Allah beside whom there is no other God, knower of the visible and the unseen. He is the compassionate and the merciful. Ayah 23. He is Allah beside whom there is no other God. He is the sovereign Lord, the Holy One, the source of security, the keeper of faith, the guardian, the mighty one, the all-powerful, the proud. Exalted be He above all the partners they ascribe to Him. Ayah 24. He is Allah the Creator, the originator and the shaper out of nothing. His are the most beautiful names. All that is in the heavens and the earth glorifies Him. He is the mighty and the wise. In this chapter and the next one, we would like to invite you to examine with us what the honored Quran says about the blessed feast, Eid al-Adha. Let us share together some considerations about this very special feast so that we may better appreciate it and teach our children to do so. About the sacrifice of Prophet Ibrahim's son, the honored Quran says, As-Safat 107, we ransomed him with a tremendous sacrifice. وَفَدَيْنَاهُ بِبِذِي عَظِيمٍ. In order to understand exactly what the meaning of this sacrifice is, it is helpful to start much earlier in history and to go back to the beginning. First of all, we know that Allah had created the world with His mighty word. Al-Baqarah 117, originator of the heavens and the earth. When He decrees a thing, He merely says, be, and it is. Al-A'raf 54, assuredly your Lord is Allah, who created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, then was established upon the throne. He covers the night with the day, which is haste to follow it, and has made the sun and the stars subservient by His command. He assuredly is all creation and commandment. Blessed be Allah, the Lord of the world. Then Allah formed Prophet Adam, breathed into him His spirit, and placed him in the beautiful garden of Eden, together with his wife Hawa. I take from the Quran again the Surah Al-Hijr, verse 28 and 29. And remember when your Lord said to the angels, I am creating man of clay of molded mud. When I have shaped him and breathed my spirit unto him, follow him. The honored Quran states that Allah made Prophet Adam responsible for the Garden of Eden. He was the steward of Allah's creatures on earth. The Arabic word used to express Adam's responsibility is Khalifa, used in English as caliphate. We find it in Al-Baqarah chapter 2, verse 30. Recall the time when your Lord told the angels, I am setting a man, Adam, on the earth as a vice-regent, Khalifa. They ask, will you put there one that will work evil and shed blood when we praise you and sanctified your name? Allah answered, surely I know what you know not. Adam and Hawa were very much honored by Allah. First, they were honored with a close relationship with Him. Secondly, they were honored to live in the most beautiful environment one can imagine. Third, they were honored by being Khalif over Allah's creation. And fourth, they were honored by the freedom to obey or to disobey. And last, they were honored by purity. How generous is Allah the Beneficent? He is Rabbi Alameen, the Lord of the universe, the creator and sustainer of everything. He is the provider, the generous and gentle one. He is the source of good, so merciful that he even gives care for the needs of every single insect. If he nurtures all animals and birds alike without arbitrary preference, how much more does he care about human beings? Thus, Allah gave Adam a beautiful garden with everything in abundance. Adam had all the food he wanted. He did not need to work very hard. He must have surely been filled with joy and gratitude. Can you imagine a rich and powerful landlord? One day he would come to a beggar and say, "My friend, you are so poor. You do not even own a shirt. I'm giving you this garden with its fruit trees, orange trees, fig trees, apricot trees, peach trees, and others. All this now belongs to you. Yes, everything. Everything except for one tree, namely that one over there. That one is for me only. Please do not pick his fruits." Wouldn't be this poor man happy and grateful? Wouldn't he be ready to do anything for this landlord, including not touching his tree? So, what do you think this landlord would do if this man did not obey? Allah is the source of serenity, safety, and benediction. He is the guardian and the protector. He, the supreme teacher, warned our first parents against the snares of Iblis. Surah Al-Araf 19. Then Allah commanded, "O Adam, dwell you and your wife in the garden and enjoy eating from good things as you wish, but do not come near to this tree, lest you become wrongdoers." Taha, chapter 20, verse 115. We have made a covenant with Adam before, but he forgot, and we found of his part no firm resolve. The word translated here with "we made a covenant" is ahidna. It's the same word in Surah Al-Fatiha, in which believers ask Allah for guidance into the straight path, Ihdina Sirat Mustaqim. In other words, Allah had given Adam and Hawa enough guidance for them to be able to stay on the right way. What was the guidance? It was a clear warning against Iblis, the master of deception, enemy of Allah and man. Again, a quote from Taha, this time verse 117. Then we said, "O Adam, assuredly this Shaitan is an enemy to you and your wife. So let him not drive you both out of the garden, lest you plunge into affliction." Indeed, Shaitan, the enemy, came to Adam and Hawa one day and misled them, and they followed him instead of Allah. Taha, verse 120 and 121. But the devil whispered evil to him, saying, "O Adam, shall I show you the tree of immortality and a kingdom that never decays?" 121. They both ate of its fruit, and so their nakedness, their shame, appeared to them. They began to cover themselves with leaves from the garden. Thus Adam disobeyed his Lord and went astray. Please keep in mind that Adam and Hawa were created perfect. They were on the right way. What we call in Arabic fitra is the inborn desire to serve Allah and the ability to know Him, to be loyal to Him, and to worship Him in the right way. And so the word disobey, used in the above ayat, 121, can be translated as resist, oppose, or defy, asai. This implies that Adam's disobedience was not just a small mistake, a faux pas. It was a break of trust in Allah's goodness and omniscience. The enemy promised them immortality and a kingdom that never decays, to become like God, to be kings. Our first parents wanted something higher than they had been created to have. Iblis tempted them to aspire to be as gods, and they took the decision to share his ambition to be like the Most High. This is what sin is. It expresses the open act of disobedience, reaching out to pluck the forbidden fruit and eating it. This sin was more than just a mere act of outward disobedience. It involved Satan's heart and man's heart as well. Therefore, sin is not merely an act that Allah has arbitrarily prohibited. It is the cherished doubt of Allah's character of goodness, which leads to the desire to rise higher than our created position under Him. There is and can always be only one God. Therefore, desiring to be like the Most High requires that we push Him, God, off His high and holy throne and take His place. This was Iblis' ambition in this attempted coup. And when he persuaded men to join him, he brought sin and evil into the world. This is why the ultimate and logical consequence of sin is destruction. Because of sin, every human being is separated from Allah and is sentenced to death, even those who think that they are not that bad. Compared to Allah's perfection, the best human being on earth is not good enough to equal His holy character and to meet His requirements of purity. That means that we are all bound to be destroyed by fire. Allah had warned Adam that disobedience would have the most terrible consequences. One could imagine death. Al-Baqarah, verse 81. Whoever earns evil and becomes surrounded in his sin shall be doomed to hell and shall dwell therein forever. What does death mean? Death is the end of our breathing on this earth. It also means irreversible destruction for those who choose to reject Allah's signs. Let me give an illustration. Imagine a source of water in a garden. The water flows from this life-giving spring into a canal, filling it with fresh and pure water. This makes many trees, vegetables, and flowers grow. The garden is truly a paradise. But let us suppose someone has stopped the canal and no water runs through the garden anymore. What will happen? Without water, the garden will slowly dry up, and the trees, vegetables, and flowers will wither and die. This is exactly what happened to Adam and Hawa. As long as they obeyed Allah, they received a wonderful and joyful existence from their Creator, because Allah is the giver of energy. He is life. But by rebelling against Allah's command, Adam and Hawa became allies of Iblis in his revolt against Allah and his divine government. They joined Satan in his rebellion, and thereby they showed their agreement with his rebellious accusations against Allah and his character. Quote from the Quran, Al-Hajj 22 verse 3. And among the people, there are some who dispute about Allah without knowledge, and they follow every rebellious devil. That's why, as soon as Adam and Hawa refused to follow Allah's plan, their life-giving connection with Allah was destroyed. The channel between them and the well of vitality was blocked. The breath coming from Allah, the giver of life, could not be received anymore, and Adam and Hawa began to die. Al-Mu'minun 23, verse 99 and 100. Finally, when death comes unto one of them, he says, My Lord, send me back, that I may do righteous deed in what I had left undone. But it is just a word he speaks, and there behind them there's a barrier until the day they will be raised. Al-Baqarah, verse 28. O disbelievers, how can you deny Allah? When you were dead, He gave you life. Then he will cause you to die and then restore you to life, and you will return to him. Let me give you a second example. A power station generates electricity for your house. In your home, there are many electric wires through which energy can reach the various appliances and lights throughout the house. But if you cut off 10 meters from the wire, the electricity cannot flow anymore. The appliances stop working and the lights no longer function. But what happens if you just cut a little bit of the main electrical source cable with just a razor blade? Even though it may be only a very small cut, the power will be off. The lights will not work regardless of the cable length which has been cut off. So it is with our disobedience against Allah. There are sins that seem to be very bad and others that do not seem to be that bad. Sin is not just to miss the goal, a minor mistake. We naturally tend to minimize our wrongdoings. And this makes us think we could escape the force of Allah's judgment. But the Honor Quran qualifies sin with many different words, thus showing how many faces sin has. Some of them are used in the Honor Quran for very serious acts of wickedness, as the word dhanab, to commit a crime, a great sin, a great offense, an atrocious crime. That would be kabira. And so on. If we study these different aspects, we can only be convinced that we are far away from being pure. As a matter of fact, when Adam yielded to temptation, it caused a change in human nature, with man becoming like Iblis in character and aim. Here is the beginning of every wrongdoing. Every human being who is proud of himself seeks to push himself higher and still higher. This can be seen everywhere, and this is Satan's invention, the love of self. Man is born self-centered. No baby ever cries because another baby is hungry for milk. He cries for himself. And this is why now we begin to understand why we need a sacrifice. We are all separated from Allah because of our sins and thus sentenced to death, even if some consider themselves pretty good. Most people might think I'm not so bad, but honestly, isn't it our clear conscience based on self-delusion, as the honored Quran says, Al-Baqarah verse 9 and 10. They think to deceive Allah and the believers, but they deceive no one except themselves, though they realize it not. In their hearts is a disease, so Allah has increased their disease. Because of their lies, there is a great penalty for them. It is true that most of us may have done something that does not deserve death. But let us consider the other side. Which good achievements have we done, if any, to have the right to live in this world and the next for eternity? Every single heartbeat, everything we enjoy is pure mercy coming from Allah. We have not done anything for it, nor have we deserved anything good for Him. Also keep in mind that Allah is absolutely perfect. His 99 names express every possible aspect of perfection. Allah is free from all weakness. He is perfect in beauty and character. Nothing in this world can be compared to Him, because He is the glorious creator of everything. Because Allah is holy, even the least sin, the smallest sin is too much. No matter if it's a big sin or a small one, sin is always against Allah's law. And therefore the result of every sin is the same, separation from Allah. His incomparable perfection cannot stand the smallest imperfection, even though earthly examples will never equal heavenly realities. Allow the following example to illustrate in a small way this truth. Suppose you have just purchased a new car and someone comes and scratches the body. How would you feel regardless of the size of the damage? This example gives a glimpse of Allah's grief when He looks at mankind. Allah is so holy, so majestic, so perfect, that He cannot accept the slightest mistake. and therefore eternal destruction, is both the logical consequence of disobedience, of rebellion against Allah, and a punishment from Him. The cost of sin is death. Moreover, sin hurts a perfect God and is offensive to Him. His wrath is the unbearable pain of seeing His perfect creation being damaged by sin, like your brand new car being scratched. The honored Quran is clear about the terrible repercussions of sin. Ali Imran, chapter 3, verse 11. As with Pharaoh's people and those before them who denied our signs, so that Allah seized them because of their sins, and Allah is severe in punishment. An-Nahl, Surah 16, verse 61. If Allah were to punish men for their wrongdoing, He would not leave a single creature on this earth. But He reprieves them to an appointed time, and where their term comes, they cannot put it back for a single hour, not put it forward. This means that we all need Allah's mercy in order to avoid the agony of the last hour. The only alternative of this is to rely on Allah's forgiveness. We are to begin everything by calling Allah's name and compassion, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Whether it's praying, traveling, or eating, the Bismillah is a prayer of confidence in Allah's most often quoted name in the honored Quran, which is His compassion and mercy, His readiness to forgive. Yusuf, verse 53. I do not ever free my own self of blame. The human soul is certainly prone to evil, unless the Lord bestows His mercy. Indeed, my Lord is forgiving, merciful. We all need a sacrifice, something that will pay the price of our wrongdoings. The question is, who is able to pay such a high price? We'll answer this question in the next part of our program. Thank you for being with us. Allah bless you.